are a pretty good team so far this season. Guardians will start up a 4-game series in Minneapolis against the Twins tomorrow night, and then they come back home to host the Red Sox next week. Use that MLB app. When I give away tickets, I always tell you to have it because it's awesome to have during the season. Makes things a lot easier to contend with. I will have Guardians tickets for you, I think, for the final game in that Red Sox series next week. 4:20, I'll have those Guardians tickets for you. You get 4 of them. But 1-0 right now there in Baltimore. Cleveland is always on some lists. We are rarely near the top of those lists, but we are finally number 1 on a list. The city of Cleveland, Ohio has been voted. Can you guess?
Most depressed.
No, not that.
Highest unemployment.
Most anecdotal evidence.
Yes.
People who live in Cleveland, Ohio are most... Cleveland is the worst city in the United States to raise a family.
Perfect.
Now, you're saying to yourself, Alan, I don't even want kids, and I'm certainly not going to raise that family whose parents just died down the street. That is fully your right as an American. 182 of the largest cities in the United States, and Cleveland is dead last for places to raise a family.
Is it because of all the Targets, Bud Light,
Yup.
and drag shows?
Too many Kohl's. That's right. Too many books in libraries. They looked at 5 dimensions of family life. They looked at family fun. They looked at health and safety, childcare affordability, and socioeconomics. And Cleveland, out of 182 large cities in this country, dead last. Fremont, California comes in at number 1. Now, there are some bright spots. Akron shows up on one of these lists. Akron shows up on the list for housing affordability. The 3rd most affordable place to have a house among large cities. Akron's number 3, behind
joke.
Pittsburgh and Cedar Rapids. What?
I said, that's no joke.
See?
And
Kick will tell you.
And I know I was in college, so obviously different rules apply, but I really miss having rent. That was $2 or
$2.
It was $2.
It was rent controlled. I moved in with an old lady who never paid more than $2 a month.
It was $240 a month. Can you imagine that? $240 a month.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Well, my very first apartment was $375 a month, but it was a hole.
I had an apartment in Tremont for $230 a month.
Nice.
It was a very small efficiency apartment, but
I don't care.
Job done. It got the job done.
You just need a place to lay your head.
Exactly.
And maybe once in a while, convince a young lady to come over and lay on top of you. That's all you want as a young man when you're in your...
I got 3 ladies to do that.
Hey,
maybe 4. Maybe 4.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not bad for that era of Bill Squire.
Mm-hmm. People reacting to the conversation about the Target thing and all that. Alan, why are gay females never the issue? People only have issues with gay men.
Well, because it's straight men that are threatened by that because they're afraid of having any gay thought at all.
Well, there's a lot of women,
gay,
though, that are on that train, too.
Well, yeah, because they don't want their sons to be gay, too. It's just they're funner to attack, I guess, by them. I don't know. I can't make... Nothing that they do or attack is logical. It's all just based in bigotry where they go, oh, they're different. We don't like it.
Well, that's the weird thing, too, is there really are no rules that you can follow. Mm-hmm. And I assume that the confusion is probably baked into that whole thing. Because it's not just boycotts. It's about intimidating brands to flinch, right? So, like, cross all the piss babies and we'll make your stock price tank. So, like, that's what they're going out for. But anybody we don't like, your company is next. So all these people screaming about someone else's lifestyle being pushed on them are spending a lot of time and money to legislate their lifestyle and everybody else. It's a weird thing. Alan, I'm a psychologist. 1 in 4 girls are molested or abused. Those girls are not all then gay.
That's not what we were saying. I wasn't saying that my brother thinks every single person who ever has been molested is gay, or that all gay people have been molested. He was saying that when he has a gay client, what are they called?
Patient, probably?
Patient, when you're a
Yeah.
social worker.
Yeah.
When he deals with somebody who is gay, a large majority of those people had been molested. That's what, and again, I'm not defending him or saying was using him as an example
No, I understand.
of someone who thinks you can be turned gay.
Did he have, in his practice or however he conducted himself in that line of work, had he come to any conclusion about how he could rectify that?
Ungay them?
Sure. I mean, for
Jesus.
lack of a better term. What?
Jesus.
Oh, so then he had an agenda.
No.
Yes, Jesus is his agenda.
No, but he wasn't like, or I can't say that he wasn't telling them that they needed to be saved or anything like that, but Jesus is his answer to everything. If you're poor,
Oh,
go to
well,
Jesus.
then
if you're sad, go to
I
Jesus.
see,
If
I
you're
see,
fat,
I
go to
see.
Jesus.
Because
If
that
you're
works so
gay,
well.
Go to Jesus.
Well, listen. I am still Christian, and I have battled with that for years. About you can't be Christian and gay because you're a hypocrite. That's what I felt like. But also I did try to pray the gay away before I even came out. I'm like, okay, this is my grace period.
But that's
if you
because
can make me straight,
but
do it
that's
during this time.
but that's because of what people say in religion's name, not because of anything that came out of the book.
Well,
So if you grow up thinking Jesus won't like me because I'm gay, go back and read some Jesus.
Well, you can interpret the
Jesus
the
liked
No,
Bible
everybody.
not interpret
Yeah.
what he supposedly said in the book. Take care of the sick and the elderly and the immigrant and anyone who's lower than you. I mean, it's
Love one another as I have loved
It
you.
is pretty clear cut. I'm not talking about the things that people interpret however they want. I'm talking about the stuff, whether or not you believe in it.
Which actually,
Those are pretty good ideas that are supposedly divinely inspired.
love one another as I have loved you kind of sounds gay.
Alan, why don't you ever say Cleveland proper with these stupid polls? What do you mean Cleveland proper? City of Cleveland.
Yeah, they are. People think of Cleveland as like all the suburbs, Bay Village,
But it's
Westlake,
not.
Berea.
I don't live in Cleveland anymore. I live in Bay Village.
Yeah.
City of Cleveland.
I don't think
If you live in
Cleveland's-
North Ridgeville, you know you don't live in Cleveland.
Well, I disagree with this because I think Cleveland is a great place to raise a family.
Shut up, Poundcake. When are you going to raise a family?
Shut up, Poundcake.
Well, I'm on my way. Step 1 is to get a boyfriend. Now, I got to get engaged, and then I got to deny that
He is
engagement.
right. Well, this is
Well, you deny it before you get engaged.
yeah.
Step by step.
Yeah, but you're adding unnecessary steps. You're throwing nails in the road. First, I have to get a boyfriend. Done. You got it. Well done. Second, down the road, usually, got to get a proposal. Then you've got to turn that down.
Mhm.
And then what? Get a new boyfriend and
No, it
start
can
the
still be
process?
him. I just-
Nobody proposes twice.
People don't do that.
Do they? I mean, I don't have any anecdotal evidence to support it, but I've proposed twice in my life, and I'm 2-0. But I think if you propose to someone, and okay, so like I knew somebody who proposed to his girlfriend. She said no.
Or not right now.
Well,
Like,
but not right now. Yes, you can make a case for not right now. But I think you kind of, unless you're really not paying attention, he was a pretty sharp guy. If you're really not paying attention, you're not going to know how far off the two of you are. I think most people, when you're in that situation, barring any, other circumstances, you kind of know if they're there. It seems like a lot of people propose when they know what the answer is going to be. Unless you're at a hockey game and it's for the views anyway, and it's all made up.
In
But
that
like-
case, if you want views, you want the
You want the no.
rejection. Yeah,
Yeah, you want the
that's
rejection.
yeah.
So, no, listen, speaking of Bay Village, which is my neck of the woods, there's a whole flap going on out there because one of the Catholic churches, one of the priests gave some like anti-gay sermon or something. I have friends who send their kids to this school, St. Raphael, right in my neck of the woods. And there was like gay people in the thing, and they like walked up and they're like, this is awful. They're like, gay people have God in their heart too, if you believe in that. A person who attended the service walked up to the altar, approached the microphone, and condemned the priest's sermon. Queer and trans people also carry the Holy Spirit. That was really, really painful to hear. You baptized me, this person told the priest. I carry the Holy Spirit within me. There are queer children here. The Spirit of God moves through all people.
Again,
and
gay.
then, like, the ushers pulled the guy off or something like that, and I'm like, man,
Again, also gay. You pulled
Right.
off the you pulled the guy off.
I mean, you'll recall, I do live in a town that called the cops on a statue because they thought it was a homeless person sleeping on a bench. So
That's
it's,
the way millionaires react to things.
not.
It's disgusting. I did not pay property taxes for this.
Yeah, right. Now, somebody texted me yesterday and they're like, hey, I love the show. You guys have really kind of, the conversations that you guys have had, have kind of sometimes given me a different perspective on things. But Alan, I don't like how you openly hate Christians. And I'm like, I don't hate anyone. I will never say that. I grew up hardcore Catholic. That's why I'm an atheist now. I don't hate anyone, but I'm not required to humor your delusions either. So don't paint me with that brush. You might have noticed, unless you're brand new to this show, you'll never have to guess about my opinion on anything. I make my thoughts very clear, by the way. I'm never wishy-washy. You might hate everything I say, but you're never confused about what I think. And so I get a lot of that from people who are like, hey, I like you, but this hatred, man, this hatred word you're throwing, I know people are wiping their ass with the word hatred because they've forgotten what it really, really means.
Well,
Just like people jump to death threats when there's something they don't like, people jump to using the word hate. I don't hate anybody, no matter how much I might disagree with them. Because listen, whatever you believe, unless you're trying to make life difficult for someone else, I don't care what you believe. That's great. If that helps you, if that's, there's nothing wrong. I don't hate anybody. But I'm not required to take that seriously. See, what you see are a lot of people like, there's a war on Christian. Oh, is there really? Because other people wanted to be treated with some respect and some dignity? That's a war on you. That's a self-imposed war, by the way. That's you saying, well, this is what I believe, and because these people aren't like me, that's a war on me. Still, it's just projection, but still, that's not a war on you.
I think they texted or emailed the person who said you hate Christians. What you and Bill tend to do is you speak very negatively about a certain sect of Christianity, about the people who do push their beliefs on others and who do make life difficult for other people, but you always refer to those people just as Christians. So then
That's how they refer to themselves.
But it comes off as you saying
No.
all Christians act like that.
No.
Yes, because when
I've
you
made
say...
it very, did you hear what I just said?
Yes.
It doesn't come off as anything. I'm very clear about what I think and what
But
I say.
when you say...
It doesn't. I'd have never said all Christians.
No. But when you
I'm
say...
saying the people who love, we've all talked about and laughed about people who have said awful things to us. And then you go to their social media profile and there's a Bible quote there.
Right.
Or they're wearing a t-shirt that's like, Jesus is my homeboy. Like that kind of stuff. The people, you said it yourself, the people who are trying to make life difficult for other people. I'm sure there are atheists who are trying to make life difficult for other people. I don't like them either. If you're trying to make life harder for someone who's not like you, it's a bully. And I don't like bullies because I got bullied as a kid.
Just a couple weeks ago, we played the audio of the Christian politician that was condemning other people that are Christian. He said, I'm a Christian with these values. And so when it's someone like that, where he is talking about it with love and respect for others, we're all for it.
Right, but you would not make the blanket statement. Look, great, Christians are loving and accepting. It's always the opposite. It's always Christians are condemning. Christians are doing this. Christians
First of
are
all,
I don't know
doing
if we
that.
do
No,
that
we don't. Because
exactly.
first of all,
Both of you
nobody
are
who is
incredibly hard on Christians.
Yes,
No,
that's not the
against
same
the ones
as
that
saying
are terrible.
But you say it as a whole. You
No.
don't say bad Christians or Christians who don't follow the rules. You say, oh, there it is, Christianity again at its best. That's the type of things that you throw around.
Okay.
And I can't be wrong. Cody, back me up here, because it's like Cody and I both believe in God.
But here's the thing.
And that kind of loops us into it.
But
when
here's
you
the
say
thing,
stuff
though.
like that.
No one who is a serious person and has a working brain thinks that you can lump any group all into one thing. So why would we say that?
But when you mention them, you do
because
seem,
she's a woman.
You do belittle a little bit.
What, Cody?
I said, but when you do mention Christians, I don't think it's ever been in a positive light. So it seems
We just talked about
I
one.
grew up as one.
Just now.
yes, but you talk about it, and you talk about Catholicism. You never say, oh, it's been like it was a great experience, blah blah blah. Because for you, it wasn't. So therefore, anybody who enjoys being a Catholic or anyone who believes in that faith, you kind of belittle them a bit.
No,
do.
And it
just
trickles, it trickles
if
over into
all-
Christianity.
Okay, first off, what did I just say? I'm not.
I heard what you
I'm not
said.
required to respect your delusion.
You're not.
But I'm not going to treat you a certain way about it, as long as you're not trying to paint me with your brush.
But
That's all I've ever said.
But if every time
The people that we end up talking about are the people who have made a big show of themselves, right?
I understand that.
So it's got nothing to do with talking about a certain population as a whole.
But when you make references to, like, say if we were driving in the car or something, like, or if I was driving behind you, or you were driving in front of someone else and you cut them off, and someone was like, "Oh, just like an atheist, you people have no respect. You that's all you people do. You go through life with no morals, no self-respect. You just treat society how you want to treat it because you have no higher, you don't believe in a higher
Power.
power." Yeah. So saying something like that is belittling to all atheists because you had a bad experience with one. Or if you go through life and
Right, but I don't judge myself based on what people call me or criticize
you
me
don't,
for.
but the masses who hear you, when they hear
What masses are you talking about?
I'm specifically
show.
talking about this guy when he's like, "This is what you project toward Christians." I'm backing him up in saying that more than 90% of the stories that we talk about Christians are negative.
He said hate.
And okay,
That's
and I
different.
back you up because you very specifically say
That's
hate.
the distinction people don't seem willing to make. They want to go right to hate because that makes them feel better. I'm persecuted. They hate me. There are people who are real victims of hate. I ain't one of them. None of us are one of them.
No.
No, I don't think you hate.
That's a whole, of course not. That's a whole different thing. Because people go, well, how come you only make fun of Christians? Because that's what I grew up with, right?
It's what you know.
It's what I know.
Well, it's also
Well, seriously,
what's
it's
in the
easy to make
news.
fun of what you know.
But right, that you're right, what you know. But also, do I believe that every religion deserves mockery? Yes, I do. Does that have anything to do with how you live your life? Absolutely not. You should do what you want to do. No one is steering their life based on what Alan Cox says. No one.
But you're
Not even me.
You're hurting their Christian feeling.
My whole family are still active Catholics. I love my family. That's the environment in which I grew up.
I thought you hated them because they're Christians.
Bill, I don't hate anyone, and I can't
you
be
keep saying that.
I can't
It just
be
doesn't get in because I
clearer
know.
about it. But okay, listen. I've again, we've solved the problems of the world.
We fixed
we've done it.
religion.
That's right. We've done it collectively. We've done it as a group. And